Do you remember the end of July when my friend Keith was there on the floor having had a fall in the garage? Well, the good news is he's alright. I saw him the other day and he's up and about with no ill effects, so that's a bit of good news. And as we approach Moshit Corner, it's glorious sunshine, as opposed to yesterday when we did have sunshine, but we also had some pretty horrendous heavy showers, so we're making up for it today. First port of call will be Tipton, and then it will be off to Fromes Hill, probably going via Stourport and Martley and that way. And the paint on the road says school zone. The speed bumps, it's traffic calming. There's zigzags and a pedestrian crossing, so somebody decides that's the best place to overtake. Yep, nice one, driver. Right, we've picked Wendy up. Now let's see if we can go and find Graham. And there he is, waiting by the petrol station. So, off we go. I stopped to let this guy across on his mobility scooter. Tell him I'll get you on the way back. And a second later I heard him crash into the side of the shop. I do feel a bit guilty now. And another driver who ain't really got a clue. And of course the driver never once turned his head to the left to make eye contact, because he knew damn well he'd done wrong. And we'll let another one get safely across the road. And a Great Whitley, kind motorist there, lets us all out. I say all, myself, Andy and Graham. And at Nightwick it's on to the A44 for a few hundred yards. And over the River Team. And there we go. Back onto the unclassified roads again. And a bit of a dogleg junction. It's more or less as straight on as we can go. And eventually we're back on the A4103, which I must admit is one of those roads that it is a pleasure to ride along. And before long we're at Fromes Hill and the Hilltop Cafe. Right, it's the roundy camera time again. I've now fitted a variable resistor in line with the motor, so instead of doing one rev every 20 seconds I've slowed it down to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per rev. So that certainly makes life a bit easier when it comes to editing. So we'll have a look round. There's the Hilltop Cafe, where I opted for the cheeseburger with onions and chips, and they're very nice homemade burgers, which is why I opted for it, to be honest. They were recommended, so we tried one. And I've got a feeling we may be trying one again before too long. And coming into view now will be the Russian T-34 tank. There it is. And the camera's not far off done one complete rev, so yeah. I think the variable resistor is a good idea, and it seems to work. I dare say I'll try it again a bit later on. And there's the Army and Navy store. Always worth a good nose round in there if you like that sort of thing. Any road, I'm going to carry on with my dinner. Catch you a bit later. Right, I'm all full of dinner. Time to carry on. Hopefully, next stop, Ludlow Farm Shop. I do believe that was Richard on his Enfield going the other way. So I slowed down a bit. And sure enough, he did catch us up. There again, he knew where we were heading for, so he'd have probably met us there. Any road, he ended up behind us not long after this. And a few more bikes out on the A49. An interesting looking old car up in front. And here we are at the Ludlow Farm Shop. Once again, it's time to play with a roundy camera. And just there is the Ludlow kitchen, which is their cafe, where we indulge in that typically British thing, a cream tea, in my case a cream coffee. And they supplied us some free wasps to play with, which I thought was very kind of them. And in the background there is the gift shop, never been in there, nor the distillery to be honest. And that building there is the actual farm shop. And there's me, happily limping back, loaded with bacon and sausage, which is always a good thing. Right, time to head for home. We said farewell to Richard at this point as he headed back out on the road towards Cleobury Mortimer, whilst we decided to go back up and over Clee Hill and across Catherton Common towards Kinlet. It's certainly a bright, clear, sunny day today. With an excellent view as we come across the top of Clee Hill. Certainly see for miles today. And a few woolly speed bumps at the side of the road on Catherton Common. This fellow in the silver Volkswagen decided he's going to drive right at my backside for the next few miles, which is why I proceeded not to go too fast. Don't want him running in the back of me now, do I? And at the Fox at Shipley, we say farewell to Graham. He heads back towards the Bratch, Womben and Sedgley, whilst we carry on towards Wolverhampton and through the ford at Trescott, where without fail somebody will try to drive through when it's in flood and get jammed under that bridge. You'd think they would have learnt by now, but no. At least twice, 3 times a year it'll be there in the paper. Picture of a car jammed under the bridge, usually a Mercedes or a BMW. I don't know what that says about the drivers, but Draw your own conclusions. And Bilston, where that little red mobility scooter nearly gets taken out by that lorry. And back in Tipton once more. And no wash shit corner, I'm afraid. It's down through the tunnel o' trees. And once again, it's been a good day out. The weather has been more than kind. I've stocked up on bacon and sausage. I had an excellent burger up at the Hilltop Cafe. So I suppose, until the next time, see you later.